welcome back everybody to Let's Play Metroid Fusion. It's been quite a few weeks, hasn't it? Well, at least my save data didn't die on me like it did back in Super Metroid, so that's a plus. But I wouldn't be surprised if it did either, because, maybe it's because I'm getting old, relatively speaking. But, like, I've actually had a few of my GBA games just nut out on me, because it's not holding the save data for some of my games well anymore. Like, I know that's gonna unfortunately be an issue with not Fusion, but Zero Mission once I get to that game later down the road. So, I won't lie, I'm a little bit worried as far as that goes. But yeah, Fusion, even though I've owned this game way longer than Zero Mission, it's still functioning fine, faded label and all. So it's missile upgrade data, I see. And yeah, holidays and shit, dealing with family things, new Smash games, stuff like that. That's pretty much why I've been gone as long as I've been, you know what I'm saying. So, he's suggesting we go to this data room that's behind a level 4 log, but then he's like, oh wait. Unless it's necessary. I thought you said recovery was your highest priority here, like... Well, that's true. Yeah, that sounds like some high intelligence. I like the subtle nod there. Okay. Alright, so off to a new sector it is, I suppose. Alright, so, yeah, I won't lie, because it's been a few weeks since I've last played Fusion, I just gotta get myself adjusted to the whole routine of doing these videos again. Again, I apologize if I don't have a consistent uploading schedule. Part of it is due to motivation on my end, I admit that. But, yeah, I think from this point forward, like, expect some kind of upload schedule, but just don't expect it to be consistent like it was back with, say, Secret of Mana, for instance. But then again, what am I saying? I mean, I don't think I've ever been super consistent with upload schedules, and the motivation issue is more prevalent than ever. But we've been getting a lot of good support for this channel, which has helped us in the long run. I'm gonna actually give out a shout out to my good bud, Papa Minna here. Did I say that right? I'm like half asleep right now. Your comments have been really, really helpful. They've been a good motivator for keeping these videos up and going. You've always said some really good supportive things. You've always sparked up some kind of interesting conversations within these Let's Plays. Let's just hope that kind of train of thought or whatever continues in the future. But man, I appreciate your support, Papa Minna. Big shout outs, and I hope you're doing well, my man. But anywho, we gotta activate level 2 hatches. And yeah, this may allow us the CX and X parasites into the... Wait, what? But... Okay, so this is what I don't get, okay? So like... Back when we unlocked the level 1 hatches, he implied that because of that the X-Parasites had gotten into, you know, sectors 3 and 4. But now he's saying that, like, if we do the level 2 hatches, it'll bring the X-Parasites into this area. And you're gonna see pretty clearly that as soon as we unlock the level 2 hatches, like, just pay attention to what's going on, basically. Like... The opening of Sector 3 starts off a bit differently compared to most other sectors. Yep. And yeah, much like any other Metroid game, if you don't have the Faria suit and you go into a hot temperature, heated room or whatever, that's not going to be good for you. No good for you whatsoever. So, anywho, he was saying that basically, if we unlock the level 2 hatches, it's going to bring the CX and company into this area. But, like, Okay, so this is the opening area. No enemies so far, right? And then you go into this next room right here. And... come on. Cue the exposition, please. Okay, so you're not seeing any enemies. It's pretty quiet. It's pretty, barren for the most part. Hell, even the whole motivational music theme piece or whatever is still playing. So, it kind of begs the question, like, okay, so their range of effectiveness depends on, like, what sectors are open, right? So what's any different? What's the difference here for Sector 3 then? Because obviously we can come into Sector 3 with the level 1 hatches, but then you're telling me that the Sayx and company can't come into here unless the level 2 hatches are active, even though they went into Sector 4 just fine? I'm not buying that. Like, I get the idea for creating this level of suspense to show just how area looks without the X-Parasites present. I get that. I just feel like something like this could have been pulled off better in, like, say, an earlier sector of the game. You know what I'm saying? It just seems a little backwards to me. Yeah, you see right here. As soon as we open the level 2 hatches, all of a sudden, like, the X-Parasites and co. come into play and start raiding the sector. And it's just a little confusing. It's one of those attentions to detail that, I don't know, if I feel like if I picked apart the story all day long, some things will make even less sense, but you know what, for the most part, I'm just gonna kind of let something like that slide, because I'm pretty sure trying to find a way to work that into the narrative would be pretty hard to do otherwise, but it's just a little inconsistent, you know? A little inconsistent from what they've told us before. It's a nitpick, I'll admit. It's not something that's going to go against the game as far as points are concerned, but it's a nitpick nonetheless. Also, goddamn am I sloppy today. Alright, so Sector 3 isn't really what I'd call a long-lived sector at all. It's mostly a come-and-go scenario where we get our upgrade and then we get the fuck out of here. It's not like Sector 2, where we're making a giant-ass roundabout through the entire sector just to get back to where we were. This one's a straight-up point A to point B scenario, more or less. And yeah, that missile tank there, there's a funny story about that missile tank. Before people did minimalist runs of this game, like, people would do 1% challenges, and I did a 1% challenge myself, and let me tell you, it's a lot harder than you'd think. And that missile tank right there was, for the longest time, the only missile tank you were forced to get. Like, because it's put in a way where you have to kind of go through it in morph ball form just to get over to this side and make it over to this tunnel. So it's one of those unavoidable scenarios, basically, and people had to live with it. But then somebody had actually figured out that there is a way of skipping that missile tank altogether and coming through here. And basically what it involves is that it involves a lot of frame-perfect, like, Shine Spark techniques, as in, like, you have to kind of pause and repause the game constantly to make sure you have everything buffered correctly, and you Shine Spark through this thing that would normally be, you know, destroyable by super missiles. And that's how you get through that section. And more or less make a pure minimalist run out of the game. But yeah, if you're not counting that scenario where you're basically having to do near TAS levels of perfection to get that section, you know, cleared out, then that missile there is going to be the one missile tank you'll have to get for your minimalist run, basically, is what I'm saying. In case you were curious. Anywho, we got our super missiles. That didn't take too long, now did it? And, funny enough, though, I actually think this would have been a lot less longer if I hadn't have stopped and talked about certain, things leading up to this point, but you know what, I'm not even really concerned about making time. I just want to get all the expansions at least, because, oh boy, the endgame collectathon, as I've already hinted before, is a pain in the fucking ass. I don't want to do it. I really, really don't want to do it, but I gotta. Because I've already done it in every other Metroid game sans Metroid 1. And that's really only because, like, you know, I don't really care for Metroid 1, and Metroid 1 doesn't necessarily require you to get literally everything to have maximum capacity for both your energy tanks and missiles. Or at least energy tanks. I forget if missiles were a thing to be concerned about, but... yeah. Anywho, we have super missiles, and super missiles are a lot different from the ones in Super Metroid. These are literally a power upgrade and nothing more. You use them as you would with regular missiles. They're there for the extra firepower, which actually makes the charge shot a lot less useful now that I think about it. So, yeah, super missiles are going to be your go-to for stacking up damage now. If only we had another beam right now. And oh boy. Yeah, I had to actually go all the way back there to initiate this, but oh! I got a little too antsy. Okay, so this here is the security robot. As far as I know, this is actually one of the only enemies you fight in this game that aren't, you know, X-infested or have anything to do with, like, being infected with the X-parasites whatsoever. So, this fight's pretty cool. You basically want to know when to keep your distance and stay under... You actually need to stay up here to land shots on the security robot. I mean, granted, it is possible to shoot him if he did some precise diagonal missile shots, but that wouldn't make the fight fun now, would it? Get used to the flame pillar timing, because they have a tendency to alternate between high and low pillars. So just get used to the timing for that and know when to move out of the way when you're on that. And I don't know, I really like the premise of this fight. I like how the whole fight takes place on the ceiling. And you're not really waiting for a specific weak spot. You're mostly going in, but you're having to be kind of like analytical and, you know, precision based, you know, to fight this boss. It's all about picking and choosing your spots carefully, and I don't know. I just love boss fights like that in particular. I don't know why. Maybe it's a fetish. God damn, super missiles are so good. And no, I didn't forget about this energy tank. Oh god, I barely made that. I like literally had barely made that jump at all. If I had gone any like earlier, I would have not made that at all. God bless Shine Sparks. They're so fucking cool even in this game. And they're even cooler in Zero Mission, but we'll have to wait till Zero Mission to find out why exactly. God, I love Zero Mission, and I can't wait till I get to that game. It's my favorite 2D Metroid game to this day. But I still love Fusion all the same. Except it's more of a preference, like, kind of scenario, rather than a more objective-based, you know, standpoint. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Alright, so I'm gonna check something here. Okay, cool. Alright. And we've got a lot of missiles, too. Man, I really underestimate how many missiles you have for the early game, too, when you actually know where everything is. Yeah, you can go ahead and kill off the security robot, no problemo. It's not like we built the thing. Yep. But that does seem a little weird, though. Aren't we supposed to be stopping the whole spread of the X Doomsday scenario thing? Because if that's the case, I mean, why don't we just wipe them out here or something? Why can't they just send us more data? Oh, wait. Oh. I mean, that security robot did just destroy that data room after all. It's like, I don't know, it does seem kind of funny that, like, not really funny, but it's kind of interesting when you think about it. Like, obviously, wiping out the X, parasites is the goal, is what you would think. And then you realize, like, recovery is a big part of it too, but you have to make gigantic, stupid-ass risks to make this, possible, aka causing more damage. I suspect another factor here is in play. Also, if you're hearing a lot of rustling, it's because I'm wearing a cap. I swear, I'm the kind of person who feels sensitive going out into public if I don't have a cap on me. Because I'm 25 years old and I'm already balding. Fuck my life. Oh, what's this? Disjointed exposition. Oh. Oh. Am I saying some moral gray here? What? Anywho, off to the even sectors we go. And man, I spent a lot more time on this video than I thought. Oh my goodness. I might make a bit of progress in Sector 6 and see where that goes from here. See whether or not we can actually finish it up in time. Or do as much as we can. Anywho. See, here we are in Sector 6. I was gonna say level 6 for a second. Sector 6, the Nocturnal Habitat. And probably one of my favorite areas in the game, actually. Alright, so we're about to get the Varia suit. I actually wonder, what could a Varia suit possibly look like if we don't have our metallic components intact? Oh. So now they're kamikaze bombers now. Because he said this seems like a deliberate tactic. Again, these X-Parasites are like smarter than you think, and I think that's so cool how they play on this. Like, they're saying things like they're blocking our recovery intentionally, and then they're saying things like this whole thing with them getting frozen and coming into here, it seems a bit deliberate. You know what I'm saying? We're against serious odds here. Ah, what the fudge. I'm trying to shine spark through all of them. God, I don't really like the GBA SP control pad. I really don't. I mean, I'm glad that it's clicky, which makes it, more likely to hold up over time compared to the regular GBA control pad, which I know mine for a fact wore itself out within 3 or 4 years of play. But like, I don't know, moving diagonally with this control pad can feel a bit awkward at times, I won't lie. And then we got another expansion over here. And I don't know why, but I feel like I have less energy tanks than I should. Is it just me? Like, I don't know, I feel like I should have more energy tanks at this point than I really should, you know what I'm saying? That probably didn't come out correctly, but you get the idea. Okay, so for these guys, you want to shoot them and they freeze for a bit. Little tutorial room there, but you'll get the idea once you get further into the sector, I suppose. But yeah, you don't want these things to touch you because they deal a whopping 75 units of damage. And minimalist runs, oh my god. Jesus Christ, that thing's relentless. Yeah, believe me, in a minimalist run, these things are fucking lethal. In fact, I'd say this is probably the part of the minimalist run where the game starts becoming legitimately difficult. If you're not counting the Ceres fight and not memorizing the pattern, that is. But yeah, these things not only come at you pretty aggressively. They come in clusters, and sometimes they can be hiding out in different like blocks or wall structures or whatever that you can break. So you have to kind of be conservative with where you shoot. Like, you know, most other sectors we got by just shooting willy-nilly and killing everything we saw in sight. But these things have us outmatched, and you have to be really conservative about not only where you place your shots, but making sure every shot you make counts. Like, see, I had 2 X-Parasites touch me, and I'm already down an energy tank and a half. These things are brutal. Oh my god. Yeah, I would have been... See what I'm saying? These things are aggressive as fudge, dude. Just forget what's over here. Okay, it's a save station. I don't need to go here yet. But of course, going through the debris and checking it out to see whether or not an X-Parasite or whatever's in it. You also want to be sure to check all these walls, because a lot of different expansions and shit are hidden within them, and the hints and stuff for finding them is a lot more subtle than you'd think compared to other regions we've been through, so yeah. I can imagine Sector 6 probably being the most difficult area to clear out for expansions because of that factor alone. Because it really does feel like you're searching for the needle in the haystack when you're trying to bomb through these walls and find out what's going on, and oh boy. Oh shit, powerbomb. I actually forget if that does a significant amount of damage or not. And he's gone. I figured I'd play it safe, because if you come down here, it's actually a trap, and you'll end up, like, falling into, you know, the Sayax's, you know, field of vision, and that's a lot scarier, you know, in practice than it is in theory, believe me. Actually, you know what? Let's go down here for a second. Fuck you two. Jesus, that thing was right in the way of this room, too. What the hell? Whatever. And we got ourselves a nifty little missile tank. Cool, cool. Alright. Okay. Gotta be careful here. There we go. I love how this thing is suspended in midair, apparently. Alright, so I think that's going to be it for this part. Stay tuned for part 5, where we go and get the Varia suit. Hopefully without any repercussions. See you guys then.